My name is Nanna, and we're moving towards the end of April 2024, and April's full moon, and it is cold. I mean, it's spring. There are daffodils and other little flowers out in the garden and some cherry blossom, but oh, it's cold. 5 degrees centigrade, 45 Fahrenheit, and a fierce wind in from the east. So it is cold out there. It's almost as though it still doesn't quite know if it's winter or spring. There was a frost in the night, so there's still an edginess to this time. And I'm sitting again in the chair in the kitchen to be snuggled and warm. And I'd like to read you 2 poems today. I actually have 2. And it's been an intense time. In fact, it's always an intense time these days, see if that resonates for you. But it's been intense, and the solar eclipse was very powerful, at least for me it was, with the sun as a symbol of the inner masculine, the part of us that does and produces and puts out energy all of the time. And the moon representing for me the inner feminine, the reflective, the receptive, the relational, the rhythmic, sometimes full on, but sometimes dark. And the sun, the masculine, was eclipsed by the moon. And I don't know about you, but I could feel it. I felt as though the doing part of me suddenly had a respite, and the more reflective, receptive, rhythmical part of me came to the fore. And I'm actually still feeling something of that shift within me as we come up now to the full April moon, tomorrow actually, I think it is. When I spoke with Yvonne about which poem to read at this time, we thought maybe a poem that I actually wrote quite a while ago called Holding the Space. Holding the Space would be the right one, because we were both recognizing a need in ourselves and in others to be held, to be listened to be received. It's a very feminine act, if act is the right word, a very feminine process to hold the space. It doesn't look like much, but it has to do with being profoundly present with a process, whether it's your own or whether it's the process of another. And in intense times, and times of shifts and change and transition, there can really be a strong need to hold space for ourselves, be held by the holding of others, or to offer the holding of space to others. So we thought, Yvonne and I, that Holding the Space would be a good poem. And then it occurred to me that I also have another poem, which I will read to you, on the same theme. Holding the Space was written a number of years ago, and the second poem was written more recently, but speaks to the same idea. And you can see which, if either, of the approaches most speaks to you. And so I would like to start with Holding the Space. Some are good at holding the space, at being attuned to a process, simply by their presence, They're listening, receiving, reflecting, their ability to accept and wait accept and wait for time to be ripe. They are able to create an unseen shelter in which they and others know themselves safe, encouraged, held. Simply with awareness, they're able to support or partake in a healing or creative journey, letting it unfold like a flower in the sun. Some are skilled at sheltering themselves, inviting insight to arise and feelings to flow. Holding the space, weaving a container with imperceptible strands of consciousness, weaving a container with imperceptible strands of consciousness, offering a heartful, gracing presence, a non-doing embrace, staying with the process until it is complete, is an invisible art, oft unacknowledged and yet essential. If we are to cherish life, encourage love and our humanity to unfold, if we are to cherish life, encourage love and our humanity to unfold, anyone who has held Virgil for a loved one, has held Virgil for a loved one, will know what I mean. So that was the first Holding the Space poem. And here is the second, A Carpet of Blue. I'll just have a sip of tea here. And it was written more recently because there is a carpet of blue in the garden at the moment. Small blue scillas are covering the ground, and they like to grow beneath trees or close to the hedgerow, wherever there is shelter. And somehow those little scillas spoke to me, and I felt encouraged to write a poem. And so here it is, A Carpet of Blue. Also to do with the gift of holding the space. A carpet of small blue scillas covers the ground in the tiny glade at the heart of a circle of trees in the garden. I feel soothed by the sight of them. Their tenderness and need to blossom where there is shelter speaks to me. I'm vulnerable today. Not for me to venture beyond the garden now. I need to stop and invite wisdom to arise. The inner world is calling. Something is stirring, some burgeoning, restorative or creative process is knocking on my door, requiring attention. If I do not open that door and welcome the process, the healing or the inspiration will be lost. Tending the life within, cherishing the soul's unfolding, tending the life within, cherishing the soul's unfolding, my own or that of another, simply by being present and holding the space for it, holding the space for it, is invisible work. And yet, in a world that thinks doing something all of the time is what counts, it, holding the space, is essential. For all the challenges, I am grateful for the chance. I'm grateful for the chance to practice this art form I love and share it here with you.